Twice in this NFL offseason, we have seen some high-profile splits between teams and their star quarterbacks. The first was Jared Goff in the Los Angeles Rams, and the second is playing out each day between Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers. What each of these incidents has in common is they both had a definitive breaking point, be it a poor game performance against a rival or a player taken in the draft. On Wednesday, the Chronicle reported a public split in Citrus County when Assistant County Administrator Stevelachnik announced June 4th would be his last day on the job. I believe that, like the NFL examples, a definitive moment exists that led to this outcome. I don't know Lachnick well, having only talked to him at length at a town hall in Beverly Hills shortly after he was hired, and then briefly before county commission meetings after that. However, I would say his administrative talent is much closer to Aaron Rodgers, a three-time MVP and Super Bowl champion, than he is to Jared Goff, who is generally regarded as a B to B- quarterback, which makes his resignation a loss for the county. Before I get to the definitive breaking point, I want to address some questions that will arise. The first is a question of impropriety, given the abrupt nature of the exit. Anyone who has met Lachnick, even for a minute, knows this would be an absurd allegation to consider, as he is nothing but ethical. The second question is, who is to blame for the falling out? Is it County Administrator Randy Oliver? Is it the County Commission? Is it the Citrus County Lifestyle? The answer is most likely the fit. Sometimes jobs are just a bad fit at the fault of no one but circumstance. Bad fit explains the singular instance that acted as the breaking point. In late March, Lachnick argued in front of the BOCC in favor of raising the impact fees. It's unclear how much of an impact his advocacy had on the final vote to raise the fees, but it did get the discussion started in that direction. I believe this went against his belief of how administration should ultimately work, and led to his decision to move on from Citrus. Two competing philosophies exist in the structure of our local government. The first is that the Commission, as elected representatives of the people, should set the agenda for the staff to execute. The second is that the administration, who is involved in the day-to-day operations of the county, should set the direction, and the county commission should approve it or suggest changes. My feeling from our brief interaction with Steve is that he believed in the former, while it's widely accepted that Randy Oliver believes in the latter. Thus, I think Steve acted against his own philosophical beliefs when he presented on the impact fees with the purpose of getting them raised, and while he was successful, it wasn't the way he wanted it to happen, and this was the breaking point. Randy Oliver's quote to the Chronicle lends some credence to this idea, as he expressed the county needs somebody, quote, more assertive, end quote, in the position. This appears to indicate that Lachnick's preference to receive orders from the Commission rather than steer the Commission toward the staff's direction was his preference. The question will now be what the county does moving forward. Commission Chairman Scott Carnahan, who I reached out to, said he was misquoted in the Chronicle about wanting a fresh face, rather that the truth is he feels institutional memory is important, and I agree with him. We can look at this position not as a QB in the NFL, but as a Chief Operating Officer and a Chief Executive Officer. The COO is typically in charge of internal operations, while the CEO is the public face of the organization, but in Citrus, it's backwards. Randy Oliver wants to be the county administrator for the autonomy and the prestige, both of which he has earned as an incredibly accomplished individual, but he's far more interested in the internal operations rather than being the public face of the administration. Steve Lachnick is an elite administrator, but so is Randy Oliver. So what the position needs isn't another administrator, but rather a communications professional who can explain the county's direction both to the county commission and to the Citrus County residents. The Concurrent is sorry to see you go, Steve, but happy you will find a better fit elsewhere.